In recent days or weeks, there's been a lot of news and changes as regards to IRCC, a restriction of the spousal upward parent. And you may have also heard of, the recent changes to reduce the total number of temporal resident visas that are approved, and all that in Canada. So, and there are kind of a lot of things flying around, and I kind of just thought to give some clarifications on a lot of things. I will start off by talking about the spousal upward permit restrictions because there are people that have different scenarios, and I've been closely monitoring my comment section, and I've seen a lot of questions that people that have been asking that need clarification. So I'll talk about 12 things today to just give clarification to a lot of recent changes and all that. The number one is going to be if my visa was denied and I'm applying, do I need an attestation letter? Yes. Okay. If you applied for your study permit sometime last year and it got denied, or even though you applied, let's say sometime in early January, before that January 22nd, you did not have to provide attestation letter. But if your study permit, was denied, then you're going to need attestation letter to submit the next application. So in this case, you have to reach out to your school, because a lot of schools automatically just give attestation letters to those that are getting new admissions. So if your study permit is rejected, you have to reach out to the school to find out about how you can get your attestation letter to reapply. Then the second thing is going to be, do you know that there is a timeline on the attestation letter? This is very important. I've seen a couple of things fly around. I've seen, for example, New Brunswick Community College are only giving people, like, I think about 8 weeks to apply for their study permit when they receive the attestation letter. If not, it's going to expire. The reason why these provinces, especially the Atlantic provinces, are doing this because they don't have a lot of space. Okay, so they want to give a timeline such that if you don't use that attestation letter, they can reissue it, because they don't really want to lose chances here. I've seen maybe those in Alberta. I've seen that of Alberta. Some of what have been getting attestation letter now. Some of their deadlines are in January of next year, 2025, which is still far. But they said either that or till the study permit cap is achieved. So if the study permit cap is achieved for the year and you haven't applied, then you will not be able to use attestation letter. So I would say try to, if you haven't got your attestation letter, especially for those in Ontario, I would say try to start gathering your things so that immediately you get your attestation letter within a month or so, you apply for your study permit. Okay. Now, the third thing is going to be for those that have study permit approval and they are already in Canada and they will now want to apply for their spouse. Is the new law affecting them, going to affect them? Yes. If you're already in Canada and you have your study permit, if you want to apply for your spouse, open permit for your spouse now, you must meet the eligibility criteria, which means you must study either master's or PhD or bachelor's of education, nursing, engineering, doctor of dental surgery and pharmacy and medicine and law, and these are, except all of these programs. If you're doing college, you have study permit approved. If you haven't applied for your spouse, maybe you wasted time. You thought, okay, maybe let me just try to do one or two things. You will not be able to bring your spouse, even though you have study permit approved, except you are studying in those programs that were listed. Now, the fourth thing I want to talk about is you are outside of Canada and your study permit have been approved. Okay. Is this new law going to affect you? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. If you are outside Canada, your study permit has been approved, you can only apply for your spouse again if you are studying let's say any of the listed courses. That's only when you'll be able to bring your spouse. If you have study permit approved now and you haven't applied for your spouse and are going for colleges, I'm afraid you will not be able to apply and bring your spouse. Okay. The fifth comment I've also seen, people have also asked, if I'm doing bachelor's of health science or diploma in nursing or postgraduate, let's say the licensed practical nursing, am I eligible to bring my spouse? Absolutely no. So bachelor's of health science is not the same thing as bachelor of health science is not the same thing as bachelor's of nursing. So if you're doing bachelor of health science, diploma in nursing, any postgraduate diploma related to health, licensed practical nursing, you will not be eligible to bring your spouse. The sixth thing is going to be if you are applying for study permit and your spouse, which they can do, they can actually apply for visiting, maybe to spend, a few weeks, few months with you and go back. What duration are they going to give them? Well, you can tell, okay? You can't tell. Even though you say, I'm going to stay in Canada for only 2 weeks, it doesn't mean that they're going to give you only 2 weeks visa. I mean, I can't tell the duration that they're going to give you, but for the most part, a lot of people that I've seen, they give them the duration of their passport, or maybe 5 years, 2 years. It all varies, but just know that they are definite, for the most part, they usually give above the time that you've stipulated. So which means it's multiple entry, right? So if you leave now, want to come visit your family, like, let's say after 6 months or after 1 year, if you have the money to pay for the flight, of course, you can come in as many times as you want on the study, on the visa, but you cannot stay more than 6 months at a time. Just make sure you know that. The seventh thing I've also, heard people saying is, if I come on the visiting visa, what can I do if I want to stay? Legally, you can actually apply for a job, okay? Now, there was a policy that came out, I think February of, was it 2023 or so, that if you are inside of Canada on the visitor's visa and you are able to secure an labor market impact assessment job, then you will be able to apply from inside Canada for an employer-specific work permit, which means you can only work for that employer during that time. If you wanted to go for work for an employer, then you may have to apply for another work permit or something like that. But that is pretty tough to get. It's not that easy. So definitely think about it before you come to Canada. And if you come with a visitor's visa and maybe you want to switch to study permit, it is not everybody that is eligible to switch to study permit inside of Canada, okay? So you can go on the IRCC website and just, type converting visitor's visa to study permit. Then you're going to see a list of conditions or criteria that you have to meet to be eligible to apply for study permit from inside Canada. The eighth thing is going to be, you may have also heard about the recent changes in terms of the reduction of the temporary residents in Canada, or that are coming into Canada. This is one of the first things they're actually taking a strict measure to this. Of course, PRO, they already have maximum quota for each year. Now they already have study permit. Now for temporary residents, okay? Now the temporary resident can be study permit, work permit, asylum seekers, visitors. They are all part of this temporary residence, and they want to cut it down. So which means all the visitors or whatever work permit and all that, they are going to be reduced. They also mentioned that the LMIA job for those that maybe had about 30% quota to bring in foreigners for LMIA, they're actually cutting that now to 20%. So which means coming to Canada as a visitor and then trying to get the LMIA job is actually going to get much more complex, because there is going to be much less opportunities available, because they're trying to cut down all of this quota. And they said this reduction is going to start on the 1st of May, 2024, okay? The ninth thing I want to address is those on work permit. Okay, let's say you finish university already in Canada. You are now on a post-graduation work permit. Are you affected? Well, this temporary policy for this spousal work permit restriction is specifically for spouse of international students. So if you are on a post-graduation work permit, if you meet other eligibilities to be able to bring a spouse on a work permit, you are still eligible. You're not affected by the restriction. The 10th thing is going to be if you are in Canada and you want to extend your study permit, okay? Now, two things. You are extending your study permit and you want to add your spouse to the study permit extension, okay? If you are not studying in a master's, PhD, and all the bachelors of education, engineering, and all that, you will not be eligible to apply for spouse program for the first time. However, if you already have, if your spouse is, if they're already in Canada and they want to extend their own spousal upward permit while you're extending your study permit, yes, you will be eligible to extend your spousal upward permit from inside Canada. Okay, the level thing is going to be if you are in Canada, you have a study permit and you applied for spousal upward permit for your spouse and it was refused. Now you want to reapply. Okay, so if you're going for colleges and all these other courses that are not qualified for the spousal upward permit, you are going to be affected with the restriction. Despite the fact that you applied before this date and you got rejection, is going to be a problem. Okay. And I've already talked about, those that applied before now, before May 19th, okay, if your application is in progress, they just kind of give, you must be doing DLI and eligible for work permit and studying in a college or university and all that. Yeah, if your application is in progress, then you are fine. You are not going to be affected by the restriction. So I just say, just keep praying that the application will get approved, okay? And the 12th thing is going to be, with all of this restriction, are children affected? Absolutely no. They've not mentioned that children are restricted from getting study or work permits in all of these restrictions. It has mostly been the spouse that is actually affected. So if you want to still come with your children, you will be able to apply with your children, okay, either for study permit or for work. Not work permit. They can actually work study permit or visitors visa. My recommendation is usually, if the child is above 4 or 5 years, do a visiting visa for them. If they are less than 4 years old, you can do a visiting visa, okay? Above 4 or 5 years, do a study permit, and then if they are below 4 years old, do a visiting visa for them. Do you know that if you actually apply for a study permit for a child that is around maybe 2 or 3 years old, or for visiting for a child that is around 8, 9, 7 years old, your application can get accepted and that child's only can get refused? I've seen situations like that. And the reason they usually give you that you applied for the wrong visa. The first time I saw that, I was like, come on, what does it mean? Then I kind of did some more research and kind of discover what they were actually talking about. So make sure you apply for the right service. And you may be asking, apply for my children, and they need a study permit. Now, how am I going to get letter of acceptance for children? They actually don't need a letter of acceptance if you are going on the study or work permit. Just write maybe a brief letter to state that your child is exempted from getting the letter of acceptance, and voila, you should be good. So these are some of the things I've remembered for now. So I will keep reading through my comment. If I see other questions that people ask, I'll try to provide more clarifications to that. Okay. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, do it to hit that subscribe button and also leave a comment. Just tell me where you're watching from, and if any of this law applies to you. Also state it in the comment section. If you are already in Canada, just state it in the comment section. I'm already in Canada, I'm studying in the school. If you're outside of Canada, also put, I'm planning to attend this school or this school or this school, and that is the comment I'm applying for. There may be other people that are, some other persons that are actually apply for the same school or for the same program. And then you can kind of just build connection in the comment section, and then let's build a community over there. So once again, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're looking for someone to talk to one-on-one, I know this can be a little bit overwhelming. There's going to be a link in the description. Check it out, and then you can book a time consultation, and then I'll look through your situation, and I will tell you where to get the right information on the IRSS website. I know most of the information are out there, but you may not just know where to find those information. That's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Cheers.